see this movie, but what inspired me this time is to see such enthusiastic chess community about to grow. Next month I'll be 70 years old. And what I'm going to ask is somebody take the banner and name a chess club, a Big Chair Chess Club, here in Fort Lauderdale. That'll do my heart. That'll continue this legacy. Because this movie was inspired from, and just to show you what happens with a passion, I'm going to briefly illustrate how this movie really got into effect. I'm going to show you the spiritual part of it. A girl from George Washington University had a summer program. Everybody was to go out and get a program and bring it back to a journal class. And whoever the program was accepted, they would put it on ABC up close. Some kids went to the White House. Some people went to the Agriculture Department, IRS. Everybody was out hunting. 12 of them was out hunting for a story. And one particular girl, Susan Hoffman, came and saw an article that I had in the Washingtonian paper, a free newspaper. Followed me the whole summer. After the summer was over, everybody submitted their program, and the Big Chair Chess Club program was accepted. It was aired on ABC up close. People in Hollywood saw it. They came out, and this is where the story actually spawned from her to ABC, all the way to Cuban Jr., who took the part unbeknownstly because Jake Goldberg, the director, gave it to him to give to a aspiring actor because it was such a low-budget movie. The movie only aired in 16 theaters one day, and it didn't even show it in Washington, D.C. Cuban Jr. didn't go out that night. He said, he reached over and read the script. He said, I'll do this myself. He said, anytime a man said that we're losing too many kids to the street and have a chess house and open his house, he said, the world should know about it. And the girl in the movie that said, cursing and cussing, that is my game. She changed my whole idea about what it takes to be a man. Everybody in that script, they was in the chess house, and after they finished that shoot, they introduced themselves to me and was admiring me about my story and thanking me for the first time they ever had a chance to act in it. She was the last one. And she said, Mr. Brown, I'd like to really thank you. She said, you got a heck of a story. And she said, I really appreciate it. And then she walked away and came back. She said, look how many people you put to work. She said, did you see all those trucks? I was all those people you put to work because of your story. And all of the monetary, all of it, that was so inspiring to me. And me to sit here tonight and watch this movie again, I mean, I can count the times I've seen it. But what has inspired me more than anything, to see this chess legacy in this community, the energy that I'm seeing, the people that's really rallying around chess. Please put a Big Chair Chess Club here. Just send me an MOU, just, anything that we can work out. But let's just keep that legacy going, because this is the game that really changed my life. I'll give you a brief story how it changed my life. I was in Trenton State Prison in 1969. And some people ask me, said, well, why did you have to go to prison? So I tell kids now, so that you'll never have to go. Amen. And what really happened was, I was in 7-Up. 7-Up is one of the most noted cell blocks in Trenton State Prison at that time. They had just abolished the death penalty in New Jersey. And a lot of guys that was on death row was housed in 7-Up cell block. I was up there trading books. And on my way back down the tier, I happened to to look in a guy. I thought somebody had called me, I happened to look in a guy's cell. And I was looking, he had 3 chessboards set up. And I was just amazed. And he had his back to me. And when he turned around, before he even saw me, he said, "Brother, why are you looking at my cell?" And to looking at somebody's cell in prison is just like home invasion. I said, "Excuse me, brother." He said, "I'm just wondering why you got 3 chessboards set up." You see, when you do a lot of time, you know, you kind of lose it. And I thought he was one of those guys that had lost it. He said, "Do you play?" I said, "Yeah, I play." He said, "What opening do you use?" I said, "Opening? I just play." He said, "No, man." He said, "Brother," he said, "the reason why I got these 3 chessboards set up is because I'm going through my opening repertoire." He said, "This is how I improve my game." He said, "One thing about a master is that we know the end game in the opening." He said, "And that's what I'm doing. I'm just improving my opening repertoire. I got to keep my game tight because I get so many challenges while I'm here." He said, "You know, there's 3 stages to a chess game: the opening, the middle, and the end game." He said, "You got to be able to understand chess." Man, this guy ran this thing down to me, and I'm just listening. And his cell, his jail cell, turned out to be my classroom. That brother gave me a chess lesson that gave me a whole new worldview. And when he ended, he said, "Out of all the pieces on the board, where do you see yourself? What piece?" I said, "The knight, you know, because he said, "Get one thing straight, brother." He said, "You are the king. You are responsible for every move that's made on this board." And one day we was on the yard playing chess, and the whole time I was there, over close to 10 years, he said, I never beat him. And one day I came real close to beating him, and it was a crowd around us. And I kind of listened to them and got off track, got disfocused. And after everybody left, I said, "Man, I had you that game." He said, "You know, you remind me of a guy that's always blaming people." He said, "You blame these people. You've been blaming people ever since you've been here." He said, "That's all I hear." He said, "Well, one thing about blaming people is," he said, "you remind me of a guy that came in and worked for late." He said he was about 2 hours late, and he looked up at the clock. He said, "This ain't like Joe to be this late." He said when he came to work, he had 2 burn marks on his face. He looked up, he said, "Man, what in the world happened to you?" He said, "You know, on my way to work," he said, "last night I got drunk." He said, and I jumped up this morning, I was late. He said, I had to set the ironing board up. I had the ironing board set up, and I had the phone on the ironing board. And when the phone rang, instead of me picking up the phone, I picked up the iron and burned my face. Damn. He said, "Man," he said, "you was drunk." He said, "You anytime you do that," he said, "Well, what happened to the other side of your face?" He said, "You know, that darn fool called me right back." He said, "So that's how you always blaming people." He said, "Once you accept the fact that you're the king, there's no more blame. You have to accept your kingship. When you accept your kingship, you're going to stop coming to prison." Because I've been saying this as I go around the country, and I see there's a lot of gang affiliation and all of that. For the life of me, I don't understand how you can join a gang and all you can do is take orders. How do you do that? How do you join a gang and all you can ever do is take orders? And this is what the king does. This is why I found myself with the kingship, and it really has accelerated my whole concept of how I think about myself. Not only for the mistakes that I've made, I'm responsible for those bad decisions, but guess what? I'm responsible for good decisions. And it all comes from thought. He told me, I got so many jewels from this brother. He told me about the acorn. The actuality of the acorn, brother, is just an acorn. The potentiality of it is what? It's an oak tree. If you plant it in good soil and natural oak, that seed is your thinking. He said, you can do anything that you want to do from that thought. Thought is the cause of it all. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I said, the chicken, the egg. I've been hearing that all my life. He said, it's the thought. That's what came first. And it's been able to accelerate my life. I came home, got the chess house because I was selling real estate. One of the things that really got me into prison in the first place was I came through the civil rights era. How many people remember the civil rights era? I'm a barber by profession. I was 17 years old, 18 years old, back in '63, working in a barber shop. The civil rights era came. Do you know how long it takes to grow an afro? I'm in a barber shop with no customers for close to 3 months. But I didn't have enough, I was able to pass a barber's test, one of the hardest tests. You had to know the anatomy of the whole cranium to even pass a barber's test. I didn't have enough sense to go take the post office test, the fire department test. Bad choices, making bad decisions because I didn't have the people skill. And let me say this in closing. For the young guys, any young guys in here that drive cars? Got your own car, drive around? Let me tell you one thing. If you got a bad attitude and a behavior problem, see if the state of Florida will give you some handicap tags. Because that's where it all started from with me. A bad attitude and a behavior problem escalated into prison sentence. I really enjoyed this movie for this time. I really did, because what I'm seeing is the fact that this community has showed me so much chess inspiration because of this gentleman. Yeah, I would say this gentleman and the mayor and the sheriff's department and the people that's really wrapping around these services to be able to bring this program to make it, because they know it's not even chess. I hear people say, do you play? They said, no, my dad taught me years ago. I learned years ago. But they didn't teach them chess. What they really taught them was how to think. And that's so important out here. Always think before you move. In closing, I'm going to tell you about the Big Chess Club. This is the story of a chess club founded for inner city youth. Now I say inner city, I'm changing this now because I've been traveling around the country. I'm finding that inner city is in trailer parks, in pristine communities, is a culture. It's not confined to locations any longer. So this is the story of a chess club that's founded for all youth. It's different from most. It's distinguished in both of not just teaching chess but truth. It teaches young children to reason, to rationalize, to use good sense and intelligence against deception, treachery, and lies. So at the Big Chair Chess Club, we're on a mission to save the lives of our children, to teach the unteachable, reach the unreachable, and always think before you move. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Don't go away. This evening was made possible by the generous contribution of the Sheriff's Foundation of Broward County. Let's give them a hand. This is Mr. Juan Arias. And does anybody have any questions? Do you want to come up here and stand? And my man Everton in the back. Let's give it up for Everton. You know, he's not the production guy. He's been charged with doing everything for us tonight, and he's been just a wonderful help. Thank you so much again. And so speak into the microphone.